Welcome back to Crit and Crit. I am Axion,
I'm Sint.
and we are continuing our playthrough of Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, and our discussion of Mistborn, the Well of Ascension. And we're going to ascend into this whirlpool swirly thing. And be back in the underworld again. Where are we? It's like a factory thing. It is a factory thing. Cool. So, we've been making our way through this particular interesting little bit of the world after being a bit lost last time. Ah, okay. Link's generally a good guy. He doesn't break signs.
And doesn't afraid of anything.
I knew you were going to do that.
What can I say? I am the scum of the internet.
Not the way I would have put it, but okay. Point being, Link is known for having several good traits such as being reliable, being skilled, and being trustworthy and loyal. He's a traditional hero through and through. What do you think?
I mean, Link is Link. Depending on which game we're playing, he is kind of characterized as an eldritch abomination who cannot be stopped, only appeased by letting him break your pots and run away. I spend a lot of time with Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom stuff.
Yes. Oop.
Don't you have like a boomerang?
Yeah, but it doesn't do damage.
Could it stun them so they don't damage you?
I don't know.
Or like your slingshot or something? I don't know.
Slingshot probably could. There doesn't seem to be much reason to be up here, though. Anyway, we've gotten sidetracked. Our subject today is loyalty, which is a trait that is usually considered a positive.
When would it be a bad thing?
Normally, when it's loyalty to someone who doesn't deserve loyalty, or when being loyal to that person is a net negative or harm. Such as being loyal to a villainous character, or a villainous person in real life. Loyalty can be, and often is, in some cases, misplaced.
Yeah.
And when it is such, it can be extremely harmful to people. Ah, okay, yeah, I know what to do now. So we have several instances of characters whose loyalties are considered in question, and also particularly relevant to the story in the world of Mistborn. Where would you say would be the best place to start for that?
If we're talking about loyalty and possible misplaced loyalty, I would say we could look at the contras and the contract again, though we just spent a good chunk of time talking about that.
Alright, so for the purposes of this specific subject, let's go with the short version.
What if you tell these fairies no, you're not the hero, or do they not give you the chance?
You don't get to talk, you're Link.
Link talks. Well, excuse me, princess.
Yeah, no, this is not that continuity.
You're not that continuity.
I just said that. Anyway, Kendra, go ahead.
Well, as you mentioned before, any Khandra who works with humans abides by a contract. There are limits to what they can do with the contract, and there are limits to what they will do with the contract. The contract also forbids them giving certain information about Khandra to humans. This is just a self-preservation matter on the grounds of an Allomancer can really mess up a Khandra's day if it was known that Allomancy had that kind of effect on them. Vin knows this. Vin might be the only living Allomancer who does know this. Zane figured it out pretty quick when Vin figured it out, but he's dead.
Yeah.
So, part of the contract is just like, you're gonna see this thing through. And Orsur had a contract with Kelsier. And that contract included, I need you to impersonate me after my death so we can start this religion. This is actually a source of pretty much every ounce of conflict he has with Vin. Because Vin sees it as eating Kelsier, is kind of traumatized at losing someone that she trusted, and then seeing him falsely raised not that long after. But as she tells who she thinks is Orsur later, I hated you because you knew about this and didn't tell any of us. So even though the plan caused pretty severe strife, Orsur was going to stick to that. Granted, it's kind of hard to predict the emotional state of a teenager. I don't think Kelsier would have seen it coming that his plan to be the survivor would mess Vin up this badly. But then again, he basically also made arrangements for Lord Renault to exist as a Khandra anyway, before he even met Vin. So, you know.
I was about to say, would Kelsier even really have considered it? Or would he have just said a necessary part of the plan and just gone with it? We could probably be on that conversation for days. I really wish the game wouldn't do this. Come on, give me a heart.
Don't you have to usually hit a witch for that? Are you trying to stab the guy who's letting you dig up his yard?
No, I was trying to get the piece of ore that fell behind him.
Ah.
Without talking to him.
I like this Orsur.
Boo.
It is not common I would be able to get that perfect a setup for this. Come on, give me those props.
So, anything further to say on Orsur?
In a way. Like, so, he was loyal to Vin per the bounds of the contract, even though they very clearly did not like each other.
Mm-hmm.
like, he didn't like her because, well, she'd always kind of had a sort of attitude with him. Like, even when she was playing the lead, she was just, like, she was uncomfortable being there, trying to be something she wasn't, and I think she kind of took it out on him. And then after the fact, she only saw him as the thing that ate Kelsier.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that's what Khandra do.
Right.
And yeah, it's easy to see why they didn't get along, but because of his contract, he stayed with her even up to his death.
Yep. And if you have any further curiosities regarding his replacement, Tensoon, see the last episode. We went over that pretty thoroughly.
Yep. But we can talk about Tensoon's employer, if we want to talk about loyalty being possibly misguided, because, whoo boy, Zane! I think Zane is the poster boy here for misplaced loyalty.
Yep.
And which one are we going to deal with? The voice in his head or his father?
Let's start with his father, because that's easier, for lack of a better word, to explain. We can understand why he has loyalty to his father, misplaced as it may be. Many of us, both the two of us and many, many, many people in our audience, can probably say they've had incidents in their lives where they have given people their loyalty, their trust, their friendship solely on the basis of blood relation.
Vin Diesel intensifies. Nothing is more important than family.
That's actually a great example, because the family in those stories, as silly as that meme has become, and as silly as those movies are, the family in those movies is almost never blood relation. It's found family.
I've literally never seen a Fast and Furious movie. I only know the memes.
I basically only know them. I've seen the first one.
Aren't they about cars?
They're about racing.
Okay, good, because my brain did horrible things. Now it's just like Vin Diesel is talking very earnestly to Lightning McQueen. Enjoy that mental image.
Oh dear. Point being, from what I understand, and correct me if I am wrong, those who are more invested in this particular series, but my understanding is that the family in those movies is primarily about found family and about those you choose to have that close relationship of trust and vulnerability and respect with, and not who you happen to be born related to.
Okay, I know it's supposed to be like a crown, but it looks like he's got like a balloon animal rabbit ear set.
It's like a ribbon, like a Karate Master headband thing.
My point is, I know it's not supposed to look like those bunny ear balloon animal headbands you get
yeah,
sometimes.
it kind of does, though. Okay,
Like, I know it's not supposed to look like that, but that's what I'm seeing.
Okay, that just leads to the thing.
But, yeah, anyway. Zane is loyal to his father even when he knows he shouldn't be. Like, he is consciously aware that he shouldn't be. He wants to kill him. The voice in his head tells him to kill him. But he can't because it's his father.
Mm-hmm. He resists the many, many urges he has to, let's be blunt, give Straff what he's due. Okay, I know what I need to do. I need to make it autumn.
He does, however, let the apothecary poison and addict the heck out of Straff to whatever the heck that substance was. I don't remember what it was called.
He does the Batman thing.
Yep.
I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you.
I'll let you think that I'm poisoning you, and you'll get paranoid enough that you'll let her give you whatever you want, whatever she wants to give you because it'll make the poisoning, the quote poison go away. Yeah, we've got you addicted to drugs, dude.
Lol.
Mushrooms.
Yep, it's fall. We can pick the mushrooms now.
You can also get shot at by a Gyarados, I mean a Zora. Tell me it doesn't look like a Gyarados. My magic harp evolved into Prince Sidon. Good luck seeing that not be a thing the next time you play a Pokemon game, huh?
Someone gonna name their magic harp Sidon?
I don't know. Are you?
I don't know when I'm next gonna run a Pokemon game where I train a Gyarados. Maybe it'll be the next time we play Pokemon on this channel.
If we remember it by then. I'm gonna forget this conversation, and you're gonna name the darn fish Sidon, and I'm gonna go, why are you doing that? And you're just gonna have this long, awkward pause because it's my idea. Oh, you threw half of it in the water. Good job. You seem to be impressing her.
I think it was because we got half and half. Because, yeah, a bunch of it did fall in the water. I knew that was going to happen.
Womp womp.
Okay, well, I got the thing at Eyeglass Lake. Yeah. Anyway. So, we understand why, if poorly chosen, Zane still has some love and loyalty left for his father. But then there's the, Yeah, I already been to Eyeglass Lake. I got the thing there.
Yeah, don't make a spectacle of yourself.
But Zane is also... Well, I hesitate to call it loyal. Because he mostly ignores the voice in his head. It tells him to kill people all the time, and he almost never does so.
Well, it depends. Like, if he's out being the murderer, he probably does do some killing, so I think it kind of just depends. Like, is it disloyalty if you, like, don't make a scene in the restaurant because you know social mores, but you listen often enough? You know?
I mean, that's a good point.
Like, I can hate someone, I can direct see them in an Olive Garden. I can still hate their cause. I am not betraying my cause by not throwing a scene in the Olive Garden at this person I hate. I'm being someone who knows how to behave at a restaurant.
Ah, the return of Doofenshmirtz.
Trapped by societal convention, indeed. I love that so much. We need more villains like Doofenshmirtz, and by villains I just mean characters, because he's not really a villain, is he? He kind of...
Anti-villain? Joke villain? I don't know. I'm sure TV Tropes has opinions on this.
TV Tropes has opinions on anything.
Yes. But yeah, he doesn't really... From the time... Like you said, he might be doing things, like, off-screen. Listening to the voice in his head. The voice of God, as he calls it. But when he's interacting with it on on screen, most of the time, it's in the form of arguing with it or ignoring it because it's telling him to kill somebody he doesn't want to, such as Straff. Of course. And... oh. I've been looking for you. Two down. So it's a weird sort of quote-unquote loyalty to this entity that's in his mind.
Yep, just an odd kind of occurrence. It felt worth bringing up.
Yeah.
Like, the crew obviously has their loyalty to each other, like, and to a fault, like, as it directly gets Clubs killed taking a hit for Breeze. Who, while Breeze is loyal to the others, he admits to himself he is a coward when it counts.
Yeah. One could, in theory, argue that that was not a worthwhile exchange. I could see someone coming up with a legitimate argument that Doc's dying for Breeze was not...
Clubs.
Or Club's dying for Breeze, sorry, was not a fair trade. And if you're going to weigh a life against a life like that... Oh, how do I get in there? Like that, I guess.
You need your Zora to use Waterfall.
But yeah, you see where I'm going? Kind of?
Yeah. Yeah, though, I also do want to note that, like, Clubs basically knew that when they were trying to hold the city, he was probably going to die. He even told Spook that before they sent Spook off with Vin and Elend on Saz's orders.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually really telling, because Vin is their best defense, but Saz convinced them that it was better for the world that Vin not risk dying in the siege of the Battle of Luthadel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's telling right there that they were willing to go for that.
Yep, and that they
Because
trusted both.
They both know that Vin and Elend wouldn't have let them do it if they had known the situation.
Yep, which also speaks to their trust in, one, that Vin would survive, and that if she survived, she would come back and pick up where they had left off, and two, that they trusted Sazed's judgment on that regard.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's nice to have loyalty to each other. Yeah, I don't know if necessarily I would blame Breeze for Clubs' death because, well, the Koloffs were going basically everywhere anyway. But yeah, I wouldn't
blame them, no. And I do not think it's fair to say that that was, as I intoned earlier, a poor trade. But I could see somebody making that argument if they felt that Breeze's death was, or that Clubs' death was Breeze's fault.
I think it definitely didn't help the situation, but you can't really put the blame on him for, like, a Kalos army. That's kind of intimidating, and he was not a soldier with the same, like, discipline in the face of fire.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it would be a fair comparison, but I think I could understand somebody making it, even if I disagreed with that conclusion.
Yep. Like, and that loyalty is also important with, again, Vin's investigation about the mole. The fact that none of them, like, get weirded out when she starts, like, asking, like, kind of out-of-character questions for her. Like, hey, Dux, how do you feel about this whole nobility situation? Like, I really don't want to talk about my survivor's guilt right now. Or even the guilt over stuff that I helped Kelsier do. Let's see. Vin and Ellen, I think, are a really good example of loyalty to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, even as different as they are, and knowing that they will never fully understand each other, they very, very clearly put an obscene amount of trust in each other, and it's really sweet to see.
Who else? Well, we could get to... Actually, yeah, I think it's a good time to talk about Sazed a bit more.
Yeah.
Because Sazed is an excellent example of divided loyalties and having to decide where his true loyalty lies when his two opposing responsibilities come into conflict.
Yep, his loyalty to the group and his loyalty to Terrace.
And similar to to Sensun, he chooses to side with Vin and her group of his friends over the organization that he represents, because he believes that it's a necessary good for the sake of a greater good overall, that he aid these people, even when his responsibilities otherwise would contradict that. And we see that play out with him and Tyndall, where she's constantly...
She's more traditional.
Yeah, she's very much more traditional, but more to the point, she's constantly frustrated because she respects him and acknowledges what a good person he is, both just as an individual as well as a as a terraceman, yes, but also just in general, just being a good person. Oh, I could just swim here. Okay, I can't do anything there yet. That's good to know. Come back for later. But yeah, as a result of his divided loyalties and the complications and conflicts caused by their relationship therein, leads to much of the conflict and struggle between Tyndall and Sazed, because he constantly chooses the welfare of the group and aiding them because he believes in what they're doing and why they're doing it, to the detriment of his ability to do things in the Terrace culture and society, with the council thing they have that I can't remember the name of right now.
Yeah.
And Tyndall is frustrated because he is such a skilled and knowledgeable terraceman that Sazed could be high-ranking and very well respected by their culture if he would just play by the rules. But Sazed, being Sazed, recognizes that there's more important things at play, and that constantly interferes with his ability to just play along. I missed. I missed again. At least this is going to be a... At least we're making some progress. But yeah, did you have anything further you wanted to put in on those two? Particularly Sazed?
Sazed, I think, is particularly loyal to Vin at this point, because she seems to line up so well with all of the prophecy and such that he keeps finding before he discovers that it's been being actively doctored as he reads it. But yeah, he seems very close to Vin in particular out of all the group, even though he's known her for comparatively little time compared to the others. But yeah, I just think that that's kind of something to note.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And his particular loyalty to Vin could certainly explain, even before the whole Hero of Ages stuff in the first book, he was assigned as her bodyguard and escort and caretaker, and they bonded very quickly. Well, at least for Sazed. Vin was, of course, very slow to trust, like she always has been. And that really just continues forward through this story, where their relationship is getting notably closer. And unfortunately, which gets back to the whole, not so much misplaced loyalty, but loyalty being abused. Let's put it that way. The force that is changing the writings and the texts that Sazed and Tindwyl are studying takes advantage of this. And plays on Sazed's trust of Vin and his respect for her abilities, and builds on that by further associating her with the prophecies and with the information that he's trying to collate, to the point that when the Church of the Survivor gives him a title because of his relationship to Vin, the Force changes the text to refer to Quan, the person who discovered the original supposed Hero of Ages, Lindy, changes to refer to him as the First Witness, the title that was given to Sazed by the Church of the Survivor, instead of the original title that the Terrace Society had given him for that particular happenstance that I don't remember what it was right now. Because the rewritten text replaced it in my memory. Yep, no piece of heart this time. You ever had to deal with that where you know there was originally a different answer, but because a new answer or a more recent thing has gotten into your head, you can't remember the original anymore?
I mean, I majored in history education, and I still kind of trip over the official switch from BCAD to BCACE all the time. Let's see, I was raised Catholic, and we had to change all of our responses from "and also with you" to "and with your spirit." Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with the revision, okay?
Fair point. Alright, well, do you have any other particular relationships whose loyalty you'd like to discuss?
I kind of want to look at Oriana, actually, because she is more loyal than you would expect from her behavior and general demeanor, but, like, at the end, like, she's still working just fine with everybody. She knows how to play people, but she's not gonna betray any causes. I don't know, I want to talk more about her, because she had such a comparatively minor role, but she's great.
Yep. I don't remember. Does she show up more in the third book?
I believe so. It's been a hot minute since I've read it, and I was going to wait to do that until after we'd finish this set of videos.
I mean, that's fair. We're going to get to that book later. I was just trying to remember, because it's been a while since I've read them.
I can only keep so many books straight in my head at once.
I know that feeling.
Like, I remember details from lots of things that I have read, but, like, specific details, not so much.
But yeah, she does a pretty good job of... She's kind of an opposite to Sazed in that way. She does a relatively good job of balancing her respective loyalties to the point where she is there, as we mentioned before, she's in Luthadel as a spy on Set's behalf, but she doesn't do anything that would be overtly harmful or treasonous to Breeze or to the rest of the group. Yes, she's there to gather information, but, I didn't know you could just miss her.
Well,
we learned a thing today. Actually, I need to try and get over here when it's not winter so I can go to the left.
but yeah, like, there's also the group's loyalty in general to Kelsier even after he's gone, which I think segues into the second thing I wanted to look at on this, which is, loyalty, but loyalty that leads you to being a workaholic. I think Breeze might be the only main character that, like, takes a break from what they're all doing. Like, Vin repeatedly does not get a normal night's sleep, is up at all hours, is constantly paranoid, is constantly on the watch, because someone has to do this, someone has to be on the lookout, we always have to be aware. Ellen also rarely sleeps because have to study this, have to write this, have to keep this going. Dox is not, like, they're all just working themselves insane. Granted, there is a lot to do, but they do have people that they can delegate to in many respects, but won't.
Because
because, like, you don't have another Mistborn.
Yeah, but a lot of it is they don't trust them. They aren't comfortable with surrendering that kind of control and loyalty to people outside their very limited group. And we see the harm of that where they run themselves ragged because they don't have people they can trust to take up the slack. And that's part of the benefit of having people you can trust, is the ability to yield some of that... Alright, there's that bug there. Yield some of that necessary time to somebody you can trust to watch your back.
Yep. to watch your back, to take on a little bit of the maybe the less important stuff that you don't feel like you need to personally oversee. But yeah,
To
and that's
share
where
the burden with.
yeah, and that's where the loyalty really comes into play. Does everything need undying loyalty? Like, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm pretty sure that my boss at work both trusts me and doesn't trust me, in the sense that, can I do my job as a teacher competently and without being babysat? Yes. Can I, like, single-handedly watch an infant relative of theirs? Maybe, but I'd rather go with somebody else. As you should. I'm not great with little kids. But, like, there's different degrees of loyalty and trust, and knowing when each is needed is kind of an important thing. Like, Vin and Ellen needing absolute trust in each other because they're getting married is different from, hey, can maybe somebody else look over the paperwork for a night docs? Or something.
I think this is the end of the game.
Huh. So, are we supposed to not? Are we supposed to be here yet?
No. I tried to go into the big building at the end, and it said the power of darkness will not allow you to go further, and pushed me back out.
Ugh.
Here we go, one more time with the witch girl. No piece of heart.
But yeah, so like I do think that loyalty is more than people, like more and less than people give it credit for. Because as you said, it can lead you down a bad path, but relying on it to the extent of like, I need to trust you with my very life to delegate anything to you is, I think, the fool's path to walk.
Yeah, there's, like everything, most things are best in moderation.
Like, if I'm gonna get the CPA to help me with my taxes, I'm not gonna expect them to take a bullet for me. And I think with a lot of like epic fantasy setting stuff, it gets very easy to just combine the two. So it's like, no, I would prefer to not die on your behalf. Well, why not? I thought I could trust you. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Yeah, I don't know. I think at this point I'm kind of just rambling in circles.
I think we covered a lot, though, so I'm pretty fine to leave it there as it is. And, we'll figure out where we need to go next.
Until then.
See ya.